So a little while back, I decided Midnight Deep Tech needed an actual website. Not because YouTube wasn't cutting it. I just wanted one place where people could see what the channel's about, browse the videos, and get a real feel for what we're building here. Only problem, I'd never built a site like this in my life. So instead of messing around with some website builder or paying someone to do it for me, I just opened ChatGPT. And what happened over the next hour changed how I think about building stuff online. Here's what got me. This thing didn't start with code at all. It started with a conversation. I wasn't talking HTML, CSS, or any of that. I was just describing what I wanted the site to feel like, the vibe, the colors, how I wanted someone to feel the second they landed on the page. That's it. Not code, just an idea out loud. A few minutes later, ChatGPT spits out a first version. And that's honestly the moment I went, okay, this might actually work. Was it good? Not even close. Some sections felt totally off. The branding wasn't there yet. Placeholder images everywhere. The layout needed serious work. But something had shifted. I wasn't staring at a blank screen anymore. I had something in front of me. Something real I could poke at, react to, push back on, and improve. That's a completely different place to start than a blank page. But that first version was really just the beginning. It wasn't the website. It was the start of a conversation. So I started throwing real stuff at it. I uploaded the Midnight Deep Tech logo, sent over artwork, dropped in video thumbnails, swapped out the placeholder images, moved sections around, messed with the colors, fixed up the mobile layout, adjusted spacing that was bugging me. Just one small fix after another. And bit by bit, it stopped looking like some generic AI-generated template and actually started feeling like Midnight Deep Tech. That was honestly the biggest surprise to me. The quality didn't come from nailing one perfect prompt. It came from the back and forth. The, no, that's not it. And, okay, try this instead. That's where the quality actually came from. Somewhere in there, my whole role shifted. I wasn't acting like a programmer. I was acting more like a creative director. I was the one deciding what belonged on the page, which images actually matched the brand, what tone the site needed to hit, what still needed another pass. ChatGPT handled basically all the technical grunt work, but it had no idea what Midnight Deep Tech was supposed to feel like. That part was still on me. And honestly, I think that's a much more accurate picture of where AI is right now. Once I was happy with it, ChatGPT packaged the whole thing into a zip file. At that point, I technically had a website. It just wasn't live yet. So I uploaded the files to Netlify, hit publish, refreshed the browser, and there it was. An actual, real website, live on the internet. That moment hit way harder than I expected. Because an hour earlier, this whole thing only existed as an idea in my head. If you caught my AI literacy video, this is exactly what I was talking about. This wasn't about replacing a web developer or hitting one button and magically getting a finished site. And it definitely wasn't about writing code. It was about knowing how to say what I actually wanted. Looking at something and going, nah, that's not it. Knowing what to change and just sticking with it until it finally felt like mine. The AI wrote the code, but it had no idea what Midnight Deep Tech was supposed to stand for, or what I wanted people to feel when they landed on the page. That part was still all me. And that's where I think the real shift is happening. A few years ago, this project would have felt completely out of reach for me. I'd have figured I needed to learn web development from scratch, hire someone, or settle for some generic template. Instead, I started with an idea, had a conversation, made a bunch of creative calls, and ended up with something I was actually proud to put online. That doesn't mean everyone's suddenly a developer, and it definitely doesn't mean AI is replacing experienced developers on big, complicated projects. But the gap between I have an idea and I have a working first version got a whole lot smaller. That technical barrier used to stop people before they even tried. Now, that first step feels a whole lot more doable. I think this is the part people miss. It's not that AI can write code. We've known that for a while. It's that people with ideas, but not necessarily the technical chops, can now build things they might never have attempted before. It didn't replace the creativity. It didn't replace the judgment. It just gave those ideas somewhere to go. Maybe that's the real takeaway here. AI isn't just changing how things get built. It's changing who gets to build them. And I think we're only seeing the start of that. If you're curious about how technology is changing the way we create, build, and solve problems, consider subscribing. Every week, we cut through the headlines and try to make sense of what actually matters. This is Midnight Deep Tech. I'll catch you in the next one.